On October 17th of 2024, the BBC released their official Gallifreyan Translator. This was really exciting for people such as myself, but it also inspired a lot of interesting discussion because the translator utilizes a fan-created cipher without credit. So let's talk about it. The launch of the translator followed several instances of the official Doctor Who social media pages posting behind-the-scenes promotional photos with Gallifreyan overlaid on top. The messages in these photos read as follows: "Hello? Can you hear me? Keep your eyes peeled. And lastly, if you can read this, you're a Time Lord." The show has also used this alphabet on the 15th Doctor's sonic screwdriver, on Leela's Wayfinder device in the collection box set trailers, and further in the past in the 12th Doctor episode Extremis. Now, if this Gallifreyan looks at all familiar to you, it's probably because you learned it in middle school like I did. This alphabet was created by Loren Sherman in 2011, with a lot of contributions made by Annie Drahos, also known as Sirkles. Unfortunately, at the time of filming this video, neither of these creators have been credited for their work, and they also weren't aware at all that the show was going to use it or make it official in this way. Now that there is an official translator and a more official resource using their alphabet, I'm just a bit worried that people are going to overlook or potentially never find out about the original creators behind it. For reference, this script can also just be referred to as Sirkles in reference to the shape and as a means of recognizing it as its own unique script. For this video, I mainly refer to it as Shermans because that's how most people know it and recognize it. That it's Loren Sherman and Sirkles' work is pretty undeniable. I won't go through the whole alphabet, but for reference, here is how the letters S, K, L, M, and N look in Shermans compared to how the translator writes it. The translator also writes words counterclockwise, as is done in Shermans, and utilizes the double stacking technique for double letters. Letter C doesn't exist in the translator, and it's either replaced by a K or an S, which is actually also still accurate to Shermans. There is the letter C in Shermans now, but for the longest time, even after the letter C was added, it's been widely accepted that you can use either K or S depending on the phonetic sound that the C uses. I think the most important point here is that before the translator was released, if you wanted to decode the messages in the teaser images, you would have had to already know or utilize Sherman's script and guide in order to be able to translate it, and that's exactly what I used. Seeing a fan's creation be canonized like this, it is really cool, and I still really am excited about it, and I know a lot of the community is as well. There's something really cool about seeing something that we made and used make its way onto the show that we love so much. But that excitement does come with a little bit of caution and a little bit of bittersweetness, so I'll explain. In the translator's defense, but as further proof that it is Loren Sherman and Sirkles' work, there are very few errors and differences in between the script and what the translator creates. Namely, the vowels seem to be in just slightly a different position when they're standing alone and not attached to a consonant. For example, the letters U and I, as the translator writes it, can actually be read as the letter N. Now, context can usually reveal what letter is meant to be there, and the translator does its best to differentiate in size between I, N, and U to sort of show you what's what. Not the end of the world, again, still mostly accurate to Sherman's with the translator, but I just wanted to go over that really quick because I know that we've been talking about how there's been small changes, and I just wanted to go over what those were. I just remember that the letter Q also doesn't exist to the translator, and if you type in the letter Q, it uses the symbols for paired letters QU. The translator is also currently unable to do number digits, and it's missing some punctuation marks and abilities, but I actually think this might be a really cool opportunity where the community might be able to help out with the translator and add some of those missing features. The main thing I've seen a lot of people say that the translator looks basic or wonder why the lines don't extend, and to this I can actually jump to the translator's defense. You're always going to have that with a translator like this. It's coding, it's machine-based, it is not created by an individual, so it's going to have to be as simple as possible so that it's customizable as possible and also probably works more easily. I would also say that it does make it easier to read for beginners. Sometimes when the lines extend or you get into the more complex Gallifreyan, it can be harder to read and follow, especially if you're not super familiar with the script. Again, I've seen people mention the whole extending the lines thing, and the lines not being extended actually still does match with Sherman's script. It's typical practice to extend the lines, yes, but you don't have to. You can do really anything you want with the lines. You can make them a circle, you can make them a squiggle, you can do anything you want as long as the endpoint or one of the endpoints is attached to the letter stem that it's meant to be modifying. Anyway, I think the best way to think about this translator is that it's basically like Gallifreyan Google Translate. It'll give you the basic translation, yes, but if you want to see more of the nuance and beauty of the script, you're gonna have to learn how to write it yourself or seek out someone who knows how to write it. Artistic expression, especially when you get into the more complex words, complex rules, things like that, can really drastically change how something looks, and I think most scribes kind of have their own unique style. As an example, I'm going to showcase the same quote, which is the quote on Shooty's sonic screwdriver, done by different artists as an example of what I mean. My only concern with this translator, with Sherman's script becoming official, and this remains to be seen if this will ever be an issue or a concern, I very sincerely hope it isn't, but it does make me wonder, like, does this change where things lay in terms of the script being free use and how it relates to the kind of complicated wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey ball of fan versus brand? There's a lot going on there, I think. Now, Sherman and Sirkles script is free for anybody to use, including the show, for whatever reason they want, even commercially. That is always how it's been. This has resulted in heaps of art, either related or completely unrelated to Doctor Who. For example, the Loveland Living Planet Aquarium in Utah actually utilizes Sherman's script as part of its decorating. Anyone can use this script for whatever reason they want, with credit to Loren Sherman just being recommended and appreciated. But could that change? Now that the official Doctor Who brand and the actual BBC are using this script as their official Gallifreyan, I'm just hoping that there isn't some sort of pushback against the free use. I'm not sure there could be, is the thing. Yes, the concept of a language like it called Gallifreyan does belong to Doctor Who, but this script was created by Loren Sherman, and in a lot of cases is its own thing. Again, it can just be called Sirkles to differentiate it. This isn't something I can or want to do much speculation on with my very limited knowledge, but I guess what I'm saying is I'm just hoping that the BBC and Doctor Who choosing to adopt Loren Sherman's work doesn't mean bad news later on down the line and limitations for the people that have been creating and using and loving this script for well over a decade now. Keeping my fingers crossed though, and I am trying to be more on the positive side about all of this because I think that this is a really great opportunity for collaboration between Doctor Who and the very vast community of scribes who use this script. But what's next? Ideally, some form of credit for Loren Sherman and Sirkles. Now, I cannot stress enough, I am not them, I'm not speaking for them, and I cannot speak for them. But personally, myself, as a creative person, as a fan, as someone who is very passionate about fan creativity and has done a little bit of research about the very complicated subject matter of fan labor, I do really feel that credit should be given here, and I will continue to advocate for that. As cool as this all is, because it is very cool and very exciting, and I've been excited about it since the sonic screwdriver was released, there is something that's a little off-putting about the official Doctor Who brand and the official BBC canonizing a fan's work and using it to make promotional material, merchandise, in-universe things, props, potentially a lot more, without some form of credit or at least reaching out to them. I'm hoping that at the very least this video can serve as a means of spreading the word about the script's history and who created it. 15th Doctor's sonic screwdriver has been out for a long time, and it's been known since that time that Sherman's script is on the screwdriver, so you might be asking, why now? I think for me there's an added layer of importance when it comes to giving credit because Doctor Who is calling it their official Gallifreyan and they have their own resources for it. Before, if you wanted to translate the Gallifreyan or learn how to write it, anything like that, you had to seek out the original creator's resources, which essentially did give them credit. But now that's changed. I also hope that in the future, scribes in the community might actually be able to get involved with the show, or maybe even help add to the translator. I think it would be really cool to see that happen, and it would make the canonization of Sherman's script a lot more cooler than it already is. I think it's so fun as someone who loves Gallifreyan lore, Time Lord lore, all the things like that, all the little extras in the Tooniverse, things like that. I think it's so cool that we can now directly translate the Gallifreyan we see in the show, and that the BBC chose Loren Sherman and Sirkles scripts to be made official. I guess I just hope that there can be a really good mutual relationship in the future, and that the script's involvement in the show can really flourish. In the words of Loren Sherman on Twitter, quote, "My favorite part of the unofficial Gallifreyan script I made back in 2011 is the brilliant creative community that's grown around it. Now that the script is apparently official, I really hope the BBC engages with that community." As for creating and whatnot, we're kind of just going to proceed with business as usual. People can use the translator for quick and easy translations, and we'll continue to make the more creative, complex, and expressive ones. And something that is really cool is that this translator might inspire a lot of people to branch out and learn more about the script, or maybe even learn how to write it themselves. I would really say if you are at all curious, check out the Reddit, check out the Discord, check out Sherman and Sirkles official resources. I promise you will find a community that is so filled with love and talent, and it's so welcoming, it's amazing. And I will link all that stuff below. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you enjoyed learning more about the subject and hearing all of my very technical speak. I promise you there was so much that I cut for time, and because I wasn't sure that you wanted to hear me ramble about the rules of the script for several minutes on end. If you liked this video, you can do the thing and actually like it. If you didn't like it, I don't want to hear about that, but you can also subscribe to my channel to see more videos like this from me. I am hoping to do a lot more in the future, or you can just follow me on Twitter because I am chronically online there, and you can see some of my own art there. I'm gonna call it good. I need to go eat breakfast. I hope you're staying safe, happy, and healthy. I hope you're having a great day, night, whatever time it is for you, and see you later.